But I mean, things that are tough to watch at the moment. Let's head over to where was it? Where was it played? Let me just check. Arsenal 0, Everton 0. Arsenal just not wanting to win games anymore. Everton unable to win games still, but a solid effort. But Lucas, how did that one make you feel
as well to complete? So I haven't actually do you ever sometimes when your team's playing stand up with your hands behind your back like an old man and stare at the TV? Can't remember the last time I've done that during an Arsenal game. By the 80th minute, I was in front of the TV, arms behind my back like this, just watching like that. Mrs. came in, she was like, that's not going to help them win. Just like in my ear, and I was just like, I was like, there's going to be a last minute goal here. There'll be a header or something. And it didn't come. It's been coming for a long time, but even that, I was like, I mean, no offense, Rebecca, but Everton at home is that is 3 points for Arsenal, every year without fail. And we didn't look up for it. We didn't even test Everton. Everton didn't even have to get out of second gear, and they had 2 weeks break. They were literally so relaxed defensively. Calvert-Lewin was comfortable holding the ball up and keeping possession, helping them move along. Ashley Young, 39-year-old Ashley Young, rolling back the years. And I can't remember who summarized it, but it was we played Dyche ball against Sean Dyche and obviously came up short. So, yeah, Sean Dyche held a mirror up to us and said, oh, you want to play set pieces and cross the ball into the box? Go on then. give it a go. I've been doing this is my entire MO. This is what I do. And it failed. It failed. And there's some worrying signs of Arsenal at the moment. It definitely is. When it comes to attack, I don't know whether it's been coached out of the players. Look at Martinelli. Outside of Saka, look at our attack. Just look at it and go, are you actually scared of our attack in any form? Does that look like an attack that would win the league? And it's definitely not. And Saka can't do it all on his own. I mean, he tried to at one point. We took on 3 players, but he can't do it. But teams have figured out it's very simple. You double up on Bukayo Saka. You clatter Odegaard as soon as he has the ball. Man United did it first, and we had nothing in that game outside of the 2 set pieces. You just put Ugarte on Odegaard the whole game, and you doubled up on Saka, and that was it. Shut down. Monaco almost got away with it, but then they fell apart in the second half. But they stopped the set pieces by putting 3 players on the halfway line, which is the other way to get involved. And Everton did the same thing. Double up on Saka. Mikalenko was solid. I always thought he was going to be all right for most of the game if he had help. Idrissa Gana Gueye is technically he is one of those players in Premier League mid-table legends. I call them that. Idrissa Gana Gueye is definitely in there because he silently has been a very solid DM for every year he's been in the Premier League, the 2 times he's been here. And I look at in the last game against Fulham, I look at Jimenez and then I look at Calvert-Lewin and I go, can you imagine if you just put one of those guys in our team and we had him as our striker, as the focal point, compared to Kai Havertz just running around doing nothing? And to be fair to Kai Havertz, he's not really getting service. And I'm confused as to what his role is. And I'm sure neutrals watching us play, you're like, well, he's not told to get into the box. He's not told to link up play and drop deep to give space for Saka. He's just there. And then on top of that, we've shoehorned Mikel Merino in, who, God, that is a terrible signing because he doesn't offer us anything. We've moved our best midfielder, who is Thomas Partey, to right back to accommodate him. It's really messy, and you heard the boos at the end, and that hasn't happened at the Emirates for a very long time. So I think the fans are starting to get a bit concerned about what's going on with our team at the moment. We've spent a lot of money on the Mikel Arteta, and the one season Man City drop off, this should have been Arsenal's home run. And we are in a top 4 race. Let's be completely honest. But in saying that, the top 4 race is basically a title race as well at the same time. So it's so tight. But the last 2 seasons, we've only had to compete with Man City. Now, Chelsea and Liverpool, outstanding so far. Chelsea, I think, are playing the best football. Liverpool are insane. To go 10 men down, and that's the difference between us. We go 10 men down, we defend. Liverpool go 10 men down, they batter Fulham in the second half, and probably should have won that game. And I mean, that draw against Everton, I'm worried about the Palace game tomorrow in the Carabao Cup, because there are signs there where it's teams should know how to nullify us now. It's very straightforward. If you stop the set pieces and you stop 2 players, and even Odegaard was poor. He's been taken off 15 times when we've needed a goal since he's been at Arsenal. And he's our captain and he's supposed to be our most creative player. You don't take off your most creative player if you need a goal. Man United don't take off Bruno when they need a goal. Liverpool don't take off. Well, your creativity comes from everywhere, to be honest, at the moment now. You're not relying on one player. Chelsea, can you imagine Chelsea taking off Cole Palmer when they need a goal or even Enzo at this point now? So it's messy and a lot of money's gone into it. Like Declan Rice I don't know what Declan Rice is doing in the team at the moment. He was completely nullified. The Rice, Marino, Odegaard midfield was completely nullified by Mangala and Idrissa Gana Gueye. And it's sad to see, but it's not over yet. But my God, I don't know where we go going forward because our attack is horrific at the moment. It's so bad.
Well, he's here. Can I just say, I've missed a Lucas analysis. That was so good. I just
had me on here. At this point, almost broken again.
I've missed it. I mean, do you know what? Sam and I had a call with an Arsenal fan on Sunday, and he sort of thought his feeling was perhaps that Arteta has seen what Arsenal have done the last couple of seasons, where they've just been really attacking and sort of quite open. And he sort of thinks that Arteta maybe has sort of gone a little bit too much the other way now and try to become too controlled.
He's literally that season when we dropped to 93% season. I think that generally messed him up a bit. He's affected by that, and you would be obviously like in that position. And he's gone, defense let us down in those key moments. We didn't have Saliba; he got injured, so now we have to have a defense, and he's forgotten that we need to score goals. But I don't even think it's just that because we've shown we can score goals. Sporting Lisbon, West Ham, there are goals there. I think this is going to sound crazy, but the Declan Rice and the Havertz situation and Xhaka situation, I think that trio has become a bit of a problem because Rice was, if you remember, when we let Xhaka go, Declan Rice wasn't bought to replace Xhaka. He was bought to replace Thomas Partey because we were one of the things of getting Thomas Partey to leave. So he was supposed to come in and be a DM, and then Havertz was bought to be our other mid to replace Xhaka. Havertz was bought. Remember, we played in midfield when he first joined, and that didn't work. And then they realized, well, we spent 165 million on these two, but our best midfielder is still Thomas Partey. So he's been moving it around, and then he's gone, well, Havertz can do a job up front. He's tall, he can hold the ball up, he works hard, and he can score goals. He'll get a few goals here and there, but not to level that we need a striker to. Jesus has dropped off a cliff. And then he's brought in Marino to again, we need to fill someone who can do Xhaka, and Marino can't do that. So we haven't replaced Granit Xhaka this whole time, but we've bought 3 players to try and make it work, and none of them work. And that's nearly 200 million we spent on that thing, and it hasn't been fixed. And I think that is the concern. That's what's messed us up going forward is the transition, and we haven't got a striker. Jesus has got 1 goal in 32 games. What is Calvert-Lewin's record in the last 32 games? Has Calvert-Lewin got more than 1 goal in his last? I think he does.
I think he does.
Yeah, I think he does.
Sure
He
does. Yeah.
I think Beto has more than that in his last 32 games.
To be fair, Calvert-Lewin to do 32 games, so that's spread over like 7 seasons. For him.
But I think
he was 18 when he first started the first and then 32.
Calvert-Lewin has 2 this season alone. There you go.
There you go. It's not immediately fixable because you can't, and we only go down one side. It's Odegaard and Saka, tiki-taka, and it leaves the whole other side. And Martinez's been coached to be a byline winger, which isn't his game, and Trossard's inconsistent and obviously doesn't get on with match. This is a mess, people. This is an absolute mess. It's fixable, but it is a mess, and we're not going to spend in January. He's already said that. We're not going to go and get a striker in Jan.
If it's any solace for you, Granit Xhaka is doing really well at Leverkusen in the last couple of seasons.
Yep. And I was on his case this whole time at Arsenal for the 5 years here. And then he had 1 season where he was outstanding. And what do we go and do? See you later, Xhaka. Thanks for being one of the best midfielders in the league this year. Off you go. It's not good. It's not good, guys. And I am so worried about this Palace game tomorrow because it's a cup match and we need a trophy. Palace are hitting form. They're not conceding goals. They're looking very solid at the back, and it's finally starting to click. They're a little bit the issues up front, but guess who hasn't scored a goal in 20 games and is an ex-Arsenal player who will be starting up front tomorrow? Don't gamble, people, but I will be putting money on that. I will be putting money on Eddie Nketiah. Can you imagine if he rocks up to the Emirates and scores a goal to knock us out? That is it. Happy Christmas, Arsenal fans. It's not good. But I'm going to ask you, like, because Josh, you've been on Arteta's case for a while. I've seen you on Twitter. But do you where do you guys think this is? Do you think this is generally like? Do you think Arteta is our Brendan Rodgers?
I think that's a really
Yes,
good...
close, but not over the line.
I think, to be honest with you, the Arsenal job was probably a job too soon for him. Really, I think he needed to do something somewhere else first, because he's having to grow and learn on the job with Arsenal, and I think that's probably quite high pressure and quite difficult. Citing, I got 2 charity shield, I got 2 friendly cups as a reaction to sort of being called out on something, sort of shows it's a tough job. But yeah, I can't see him getting you there. I just don't think he's got it in his arsenal, pardon the pun intended.
I think this season's just completely ripped any narrative up I think he had, because the last couple of seasons you've got the Manchester City juggernaut, and that's what, to be fair, Klopp used it on occasion. Look at what we're up against, and as you said, that season you came so close, a couple of games at the end, but it was a pretty perfect run up until that point. There wasn't a lot, and this season is just, that's where it changes everything, because as you said, they should be there. I had Arsenal down because I didn't think City would win the league. I thought this would be the one that I didn't see them stepping off the way they've stepped off, but I thought maybe this is it. And I thought, well, the Arsenal were the ones. This is its prime for them to step into. And I think that criticism is what's coming off now with these crazy statements. And I think we're going to start to see a little bit of a flaky. It's going to start to get a bit nasty again. If these results carry on, then definitely. I mean, my question... Back the other way, Lucas, is what do you think of the whole Edu going stuff as well? Do you think is there turmoil there behind the scenes? Is that all that it's not all been rosy? He's gone to recruitment?
Forest, right? The Forest group.
Yeah,
I think those two have been like, that's been a partnership for this whole process, and the way they phased it out has been Arteta seeing the players he needs, or the positions he needs. Edu goes and gets them, and together they're part of the transfer committee. So no player is signed at Arsenal Football Club without Mikel Arteta giving the green light. It doesn't happen. So I think him leaving and the way things have gone on post it is very telling that he might have jumped ship before things get nasty and they're disagreement. I think that it's starting to look bad. But I think, I do think tomorrow is huge. And I think Palace can be smart here. I think Glasner's an experienced coach. He's got a European trophy, for goodness sake. Like, he can be very smart here, because he knows if Arsenal don't score in that first half an hour, the crowd is going to get, and we're at home, the crowd is going to get very angsty, and then it will seep in the players. It, like you said, Sam, it can turn very quick. And I'd said from the beginning, like, I think he's proven himself a very effective coach. He can coach a great system, but the way this is going, we're going to look back on this like it's Poch at Spurs. Poch did the exact same thing at Spurs, 89 points, exact same points total, I think. They competed and then they fell off, and Poch didn't even spend any money. He didn't spend the money for wasn't it like something crazy, like 400 something days? They played great football. At 1 points, they were playing the best football in the league, but they never got over the line. And I think that wasn't necessarily on Poch's fault. Like, look at Tottenham. Like, come on, it's not an easy job to win a trophy there. Yeah,
football
no matter how good you are. Yeah, but
Weird.
But I think we're going to look at it and go, it's the same thing. And someone showed up the points. I should have brought it. The points tally at this point in the season over the last 3 years. This is the lowest of the last 3 seasons. And actually our projected points, I think it was 84, 89, or the other way around maybe. We're on projected points for 71, which is 2 more than Emery got in the season when he finished 5th.
Can I play devil's advocate though? Like when Arteta took over, Arsenal were in such a bad position. I know it's not going great at the minute. Like, I'm not disputing anything you have said about, like, the past few results have not been great by any stretch of the imagination. But is there not shouldn't there be a bit of a recognition of, he has taken you for being outside of Europe, 8th position in a couple of seasons, into top 4, securely in the top 4, almost winning the title last season. Are the players maybe not in a bit of a dip, considering how close they got and didn't quite get over the line? Is that really... Should Arteta not be given a bit more time because of the season he's had last year? Do you not think?
it's a fair challenge, but when you say disarray when he took us over, I think we weren't great. Emery didn't have us. We were losing a couple of games. We were losing, a bit. We were struggling to score. But we were only 6 points off top 4 then.
All right.
We were like 11th, but we were 2 wins away from top 4. I think 4th and 3rd. We weren't actually like this relegation threat inside. Arteta had this in there as a relegation threat inside for a little bit. But I agree. Yeah, he should be given the praise for what he's done for sure. But the questions come in that you can't be backed to that level. You can't have 600. I think I said 700 million pounds spend 5 years, given everything you want at one of the biggest clubs in the world, and the only trophy you have in your entire reign is the one that you won with all the players that you deemed not good enough and got rid of.
Yeah.
That is what it is basically. Because if you honestly say, if we had gone right, Unai Emery, look at what he's done at Villa. If we've gone Unai Emery, you can have 650 million over the next 5 years. Any player you want, get rid of any other player you want. And can you honestly say you don't think Emery would have won at least one trophy in that time frame with that level of backing?
Well, probably not.
Probably
good
not.
Times.
No.
Hashtag good times.
That's where it comes to. I think it's just it is fixable. But I've said it this year, and I was like, even last year, I was like, he has to get a trophy. But I was like, this year, a trophy and a title challenge keeps him in the job for me.